Hey, construction champions, it's your host, Ron Nussbaum, and we're here for another amazing episode of Construction Champions Podcast, where we're burning the house down. Every Monday and every Thursday, we're bringing you the best minds in the construction industry to continue to build your business, build your personal relationships, build your life, and be the champion that you're meant to be. This episode is just like the rest of them, where we bring somebody amazing on here to help us get to that championship level. Ken, it is great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Why don't you take a minute, tell all the construction champions out there a little bit about yourself, what got you here to today?
Well, Ron, I guess you could accuse me of being a blue collar entrepreneur. That's what people like to call me. It's it's an interesting start. When I was young, I was 15. I wanted my first real job. I'd done a bunch of part-time jobs before that, and my high school shared a fence with an industrial park, and we used to cut through a hole in the fence after school and go to hang out at the carryout at the corner. And I just remember going through these industrial parks and seeing all this really cool stuff. Lots of people, lots of energy, lots of things milling about, grown up Tonka toys, all that. One particular company caught my eye, and I walked up. So what do you guys do here? And they said, well, we're basically ditch diggers. And I said, well, I'm wholly qualified to do that. So literally walked in the door and got a job there, dug ditches in the summertime. In the wintertime, I worked in the office. And that led to, by the time I was 18, it was either college or keep working or whatever, which path I was going to take. So they approached me and said, look, we're opening up franchises around the country of this business, and both sides of it. So why don't you help us do that if you're not going to go to school? So I did that and started a business from absolute scratch in Columbus and Cincinnati and Chicago and Pennsylvania. And then I was tired of living out of a suitcase. So at 23, I moved on and started my own company in 1986 with 6 people. And I think I have 200 and some people today. So it's been a hell of a ride.
That's awesome, man. And I'm excited to have a conversation with you here today. And we're going to get it started by asking the $1,000,000 question. And that is, what makes a construction champion?
Well, I've always said that businesses in general, especially construction businesses, are kind of linear creatures, okay? There's input, there's work in the middle, then there's output or some type of product or service, and then hopefully there's revenue and profit for the owner. And, if you look at it that way, Ron, you can, I've said this a million times, I can't get what I want for myself, nor can my company get what it wants or needs until everybody inside of it gets what they need first. And I absolutely believe that because, I don't think there's any hero in working 78 hours a week, being the guy who does everything or the gal that does everything. You come home, you're exhausted, you're beat up, you haven't seen your kids, but your business is going okay. So that's the ultimate reward, right? I don't believe that. I believe that you should surround yourself with as many intrapreneurs as you can. And those are people that you help to create within your organization that maybe don't want to take the whole risk of going out and running their own company, but they want to feel like they're part of something that they can run and control. So you create pathways for them to take this entrepreneurship type attitude. And you surround yourself with enough of those people, they will drive your company way further than you can drive it yourself. And that seems to be the kind of the secret sauce for us anyway.
I love it, man. I think in that, I got a lot of points on that. So I was an entrepreneur for years. And I think this is a way underutilized and not talked about subject in the construction industry, because it's always like, instead of creating an environment where people can be super successful at your company and understand, like, people can make a lot of money working within a business, and we create this culture of like, people, you just got to go start your own stuff no matter what. Like, it's just, and you don't at all. You can have a very successful career helping somebody else build their business, and it can be very rewarding personally, very rewarding financially, but it's not something that's talked about.
Well, I have to tell you, it should be, because, there's this thing called risk. I mean, not everybody wants to go out and buy 42 dump trucks like I've had to do. Okay. Not everybody wants to take on all the workers' comp issues or all the employment issues, or, I mean, anything, the day-to-day running a business. But yet they're still very talented people, and they want to belong, and they want to feel like they're part of something. So, if you look up the latest statistics on what people want in a company, it's well-being. That's the number one answer, is well-being. It's above compensation. And part of well-being is defined as they feel like they have a reason to go to work, like they're creating something, or they're in control of something, or they're doing something. So if you're going to try to create good culture, which is what my book, Blue Collar Cash, is all about, then you need to really start focusing on, what do your people want? Why are they there? What do they do in their off time? Because you never want to hire just 1/3 of the person. I mean, if you think about it, you're paying for a human being to come into your office and do things. Why would you only want 1/3 of those people? And what I mean by that is just their workday part. Why wouldn't you want to know what their hobbies are, what their skills are, what their passions are, what their families like, what their goals are for themselves? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of all of that? Because if you get the entire person working for you, and not just that time clock puncher, that 8-hour 1/3 version, you will find that the results of your company go crazy. At least that's what's happened to me. I probably have, in 200 staffers, I probably have 25 or 30 entrepreneurs here, and they're all working for specific things that they want, controlling things within the company and all of its divisions, and then making great things happen for themselves and for their lives. And one of the things that they can do is they can say, wow, I can get what I want for myself with and through Ken's company, which is ultimately the goal. You want your people to work for themselves first, and you/the company second, because if that works in the proper way, your company's never going to worry about results.
Yeah, or necessarily people. Like, you can create this culture where, like, what you're talking about is acceptable, and it's talked about, and it's not. See, I feel like we really do a bad job of this, because like we try to discourage we the construction industry would discourage entrepreneurship, because we think that's a way to keep people here. Like all the strugglers, all of this stuff. Oh, you don't want to go do this on your own. But and we talk about all these negatives of doing it on your own, instead of talking about the positives of doing it with me and doing it with the team that we build. And I mean, you're right on point when you talk about, you're not just hiring a third of the person, you're hiring the entire person. You should know this stuff. You should want to be involved. That's how you create this environment where somebody's just as bought in on where you're going as you are as the owner of the company.
Well, and again, I mean, if you think of the way most people live, we all typically live reactive lives. What I mean by that is, it's cold outside, you put on a jacket, or it's hot outside, you wear something like that, or you're going to work in and around construction sites, so you better wear your steel-toed boots. I mean, we're always reactive to what our environment is, and we never stop to say, you know what? I'm going to be proactive now. I'm going to, instead of saying I'm going to live a if-then life, because life either happens to you or you happen to life, one or the other, and they're not the same. So if you live this if-then life, if I work really hard and I get paid a lot and I save some money, then I can start living. Wrong. You need to know what the then is for all of your people. You need to know what in the book, I call it comfort, peace, and freedom. You need to know what your employees' perfect nirvana looks like. And then you really need to be involved in helping them get there. First up, by showing an interest. Secondly, by having them believe that they need to win long before you'll win, which is fine, by the way. And then by helping them see very clearly that they're absolutely in control of all of those things. If you have a bunch of employees, or I call again entrepreneurs, that are surrounding you, and they're all anticipating a 6-month goal, a 16-month goal, a 36-month goal, a 6-year goal. If they ain't walking around your world anticipating things coming into their life and then they start happening, get out of the way, because again, your company is going to go way further than you can run it yourself.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. So, I mean, how do we start to do that as an owner of a company? How do you start to develop that culture around what you're talking about?
Well, the first thing that you need to do is you need to shock yourself, because, here's what happened to me. So I never really had a big ego, but you run a company and you think you kind of know things and whatever, and you have experiences. Well, first off, there's a lot of experiences in the lives of the people that are around you that you don't even know about. But one of the things that I did is I got people in a room and I said, okay, so the level of our revenue right now is X. That's where our company revenue is. I want you all to write down on a piece of paper, if we really worked hard, what could we take this company to revenue wise above the X number? Because if you do that and we hit that number, I'm going to share some of that revenue with you. Okay. So I want you to go around the table, write it down on a piece of paper, and then, keep it in your hand. I don't want you to tell anybody. Well, wouldn't you know it, that all of their answers were between $2 and $3 million a year higher than mine. And I own the place. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get people in a room. You need to get those entrepreneurial candidates, and you kind of know who they are already. They're the people that show up. They're the people that step up. They're the people that want to be involved. They're the people that do great work and you can count on. Get those people around you, get them in a position to start to think, wow, what could we do if we were unleashed to do what we want to make this thing work? And then watch how surprisingly higher those numbers are than the number that you pick. So that's how you start it. Then you start setting up plans where there's either a monthly bonus or a quarterly bonus or a year-end bonus. And we do all three here at our company, so that people understand there's their own individual things they need to hit. There's the group thing they need to hit. And then there's the company thing they need to hit, monthly, quarterly, and annually. And then get out of the way. Okay. Because, and that might be the hardest part, because your ego says, oh man, I fix everything. I design everything. I motivate everything. I create everything. I build everything around here. It's me. Forget that. That's the 70-year-old guy or gal who's going to, have heart problems by the time they're 45. I'm saying get out of their way, lose the ego. It doesn't necessarily matter how you get there, as long as you get there. It doesn't matter if you did it or they did it or everybody did it. And then watch what happens, because I'll say it for the third time, your company will fly way higher than you can fly it yourself.
I absolutely agree with that. And so I know what's going through everybody's mind right now is, Ken, how do we set up these bonus structures? I'm sure you get asked this all the time, because it's something I get asked. I see it in all the Facebook groups. Everybody's curious about, like, what do they need to go through to start to set up some of these bonus schedules so they can start to implement this stuff. What's your best piece of advice for people that are asking themselves that right now?
Well, first off, this will be free to you. Okay. And here's why. Let's say your current level is $10 million a year in business. Okay. Well, if because of these conversations, your company now does 12 million or 13 million, that's newfound money that you never had. So it's easy to share money that you've never had before. Okay. I understand people say, well, I can't dig into my own pocket right now because I'm, just making by as it is. I get that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this newfound increased revenue, which you will invariably get if you do what I'm saying. And then you start thinking about pieces and parts, like who's responsible for what, how much do they control, what parts of their divisions do they run? And then as an annual thing, all of those players can have a part of the annual company revenue, regardless of who did what to get there, because that's where you have this collective effort where the guy who's in charge of service is interested in with what's going on in installation, who's interested in what's going on in finance, who's interested in what's going on in sales, who's interested in what's going on in marketing. They all become interested in the whole of the company. And that's when you know you really got something. So then you can pair that up with what we do with like a year-end trip somewhere where you take them. I don't care whether it's a weekend close to your home or you go to some all-inclusive in Mexico, which isn't that expensive because, again, you're paying for it with this newfound money. And now you've got people going, wow, I can get an annual vacation, something I would have never done myself. I can get these bonuses. And all I have to do is kind of like lock arms with everybody else within our company and go for it. And Ken's given me the freedom to make these decisions in ways that I've always wanted to. So it's really simple because, again, you're spending money you don't have yet. And that's the beauty of it is it's not going to cost you a nickel to make these things happen.
I think that's literally the best answer to that question I've ever heard. It's like it's not about what you're doing now. This is about money that it's revenue above that you're going to create that you can start to allocate to things before it's even in existence. And I don't think guys think about it that way. They think about it exactly what you were saying is like, I can't afford to do this right now, when chances are you probably can't afford not to do this.
Correct. That's it. That's exactly right. And I see people that they really want to hold on to their traditional ways of running a company. And I mean, I'm okay with whatever you decide to do. All I'm saying is, why work so hard? You know, you didn't build this company so that it would run you. You built this company so you could run it. And if you think about it, you know, he or she who is in control of the company actually runs it the way they want it to be run. So, you know, it's just too tiring to try to create big results all on your own. You're taking too much on your own shoulders and you're not going to be very good at it. You're not going to get to the levels that you think. And even if you think, well, you know what, I'm doing pretty good the way it is, man, I'm telling you, there's a whole nother gear out there that you don't even know about because you're not giving the people the license to go find it, the freedom to go get it, to think like that. And you will see how much more time you have on your hands, because here's the real controversial part, Ron. Okay. Get ready for your listeners to burn their ears up on this one. Your goal as an owner of a company should be to become as irrelevant to the day-to-day as possible, as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean you just do nothing, you go play golf all day. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you should have nothing within your company that requires you and only you that can do that thing. Okay? Because if that's true and you're stuck in the trenches, literally or figuratively, you don't get to hover above the company almost like in a figurative helicopter looking back down and saying, wow, where should I plug myself into this thriving business, right? Where's the freedom for me to go, I think I'm going to ride with this person today, or I'm going to go visit that job site, or I'm going to look at my inventory, or I'm going to look at my payables or my financial statement. Where's my freedom to do that if I'm stuck, you know, wrenching on something? Mm-hmm. So all I can say is become as unimportant to your company as quickly as you can, and you will be the most important person in that company in the end.
You're speaking the truth. And the stuff that you were saying there before that, it'll all kill you. Like if you just continue to go down that road, like you can't be all everything unless you want to die. Like that, it'll just run you into the ground. It'll make you won't have the business you want. You won't be the person you want to be because
Right.
you're literally doing everything you don't want to do.
It's exactly right, and it's kind of a modern way of thinking at things. And all I will tell you is there are people, unfortunately, out there that derive their value from the fact that they are an owner. They derive their self-worth from the fact that they do everything and say everything and command everything. They go home and tell their wives or their husbands, man, you should have seen me today. I did it all. That is something you really have to let go of. You have to divorce yourself from that line of thinking, because the spontaneity that you get, the freedom that you get, the choices that you get from doing it the way I'm talking about doing it are really the only way to live your life. And, me having all these years of experience, hiring 2,000 people in my career, going through all this, I get to look back and say, yeah, those are the things that I did right. And it's incumbent upon me now to kind of transfer that knowledge over to the next entrepreneur who's coming up behind me so that I can shorten his or her learning curve. And that's why I wrote the book Blue Collar Cash. And that's why I built the course, to get people to understand that they're in control of this. They just have to flip their thinking a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're fully in control of this, and you can either, I like to say, like you can either build your ego or you can go build something special. And what you're talking about doing is building something special, because it doesn't, nothing great was ever built by somebody that is just doing everything. I mean, that's just not how it works. It's great teams with a leader that understands like they need to get out of the way and just let their team be great. I mean, look at the greatest coaches out there. Like look at like a Phil Jackson who just understood he just needed to give people the fundamentals a go and let them go get it because they were the best at what they already did.
Yeah, I truly believe that. And again, it is one of the joys to allowing people to win around you is that you get to see progression in their lives. You get to see their first houses being bought, their first cars. You get to see their children. You get to see the pathways that they take to build wealth for themselves, investing. You get to see the hobbies they do. You get to see pictures. I mean, I constantly get pictures of new cars, new houses, new motorcycles, vacations, new pets, children. I constantly get pictures because they want to share that their life is blossoming with and through your company. They want to share that with you, and you will become almost an involuntary life coach, if you will. You know what I mean? You'll get to kind of experience all the joys of these people. Again, making the lives that they wanted, that they saw for themselves, making those lives actually happen. And that's truly why I come to work. I mean, I don't necessarily get involved in too many mechanical things. I get involved in how are you winning here? Because if you are, then eventually I'm going to win. It just happens every time.
Awesome, man. I absolutely love it. I love what you're doing. For all the construction champions out there, if they wanted to connect with you, follow you, where's the best places for them to do that?
Well, I would say go to kenrusk.com. You can learn about the book there. You can learn about the course that we built in how to design the perfect life and how to teach others to do the same thing. It's real simple. I mean, I don't have a college degree. I never went to school. I don't have any letters after my name. So everything I do is plug and play, real simple. And a lot of people are doing book clubs with the book and the course. They buy 10 or 15 copies and they give them to the office people and they read a chapter every week or every other week. And then they take the course. The course is literally 8 sessions. It's about 40 minutes a session. It's real simple, but it changes the way people think like immediately. Okay. Not tomorrow or next month. So if you go to kenrusk.com, you'll find that stuff there. And then you can see me on all my socials at Ken Rusk Official. You'll see what we're up to there as well.
Awesome, Ken. And thank you for taking the time to be on the show today. It has been absolutely fantastic talking with you.
You're quite welcome, Ron. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, construction champions, another episode. And I just have one question for you is, are you standing in the way of not just your business success, but the success of your people, the people that are helping you get to where you're going? Are you standing in the way of them being great? A lot of times that's what ends up happening is we're in everything. We feel like we need to be doing everything, and it's stressing you out. It's killing you. It's wreaking havoc on every relationship you have, including your business. And it's as simple as just looking around and understanding you have great people around you and they want to be great. And it's up to you to let them. Because if you never let them, you know what, they're going to go somewhere else because they're looking for somewhere to be great. And at one point in time, they saw that opportunity in you. And if you're not giving it to them, they're eventually going to go try to find it somewhere else and probably find it. So for the look in the mirror moment is I want everybody to go look in the mirror here this evening. Or if it's even more pressing and say, is my ego in the way because I feel like I need to do everything? Because your story would not be the story of how you did it all. Your story would be the story of how you took a group of people and made a huge success for them. Then that would lead to your success at your business. So, construction champions, make sure you go out, you check out all of our sponsors. And until next time, be the champion you were meant to be. Hey, construction champions, it's your host, Ron Nussbaum here, and I want to talk to you about how you can automate all of your marketing. We've had so many people on here talk about getting the systems in place. Well, we have partnered with Build 12 and Construction Champions podcast. Les O'Hara, the founder, what really excites me is his 30 years in the industry. And now he's built a system to be able to nurture your leads and continue to utilize that. I personally use the system myself. Build 12 is absolutely amazing. There's a lot of value in there, and it's a way to start getting away from Angie's List and all of that kind of stuff and start actually creating your own leads every day and have a system for them. So go on our website, check out the show notes, go check out Build 12 and what it can do for the front end of your business today. It's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend going and meeting with Les and his son, Devin, and talking to him about what they built for their own business so the rest of the industry can take benefit from that. Here on Construction Champions, we're all about helping each other out. And what is better than contractors helping contractors? I say nothing. So let's go take this to the next level. Go check out Build 12. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Les or his son, Devin. We're here to help. We want to continue to grow the industry.